Welcome to another episode of Women in Research. I'm your host, Nekesa Esther, and with me is Professor Jane Ambuko. Of course, she'll introduce herself for our audience.
Right. So my name is Jane Ambuko, Professor of Horticulture in the Department of Plant Science and Crop Protection. And in horticulture specifically, a specialist in post-harvest management, specifically for fruits and vegetables. That is my passion. I'm all about post-harvest management. How do we get our fruits and vegetables to the end user in the quantity, in the quality we got from the farm? Yes.
Prof, when we hear about food loss and waste, and when we hear about post-harvest loss, especially post-harvest loss, your name comes up. For me, that has been the signature, Professor Jane Ambuko's signature. So how did you end up here?
Yeah, so I don't know if I can say I ended up here by chance or by design, but okay, first of all, if I take it back, in my master's research, I did something on post-harvest.
All right.
Yes. Then when I went for my PhD again, I joined a lab where the professor is actually a post-harvest specialist.
Oh, nice.
And so in my lab, in my university, my university is the University of Tsukuba in Japan, I was surrounded by post-harvest people who are from all over the world studying different aspects of post-harvest in fruits. You know, some were doing the breeding part of it, others were doing the physiology part of it. Yeah, so I joined, I came in fact, when I went, my proposal, because for you to get a scholarship, you had to write a proposal on your idea for research.
Yeah.
So I wanted to work on a problem called chilling injury in banana. Why? Because you see how you put bananas in the fridge and they change color. You know, some people don't understand that is actually, you know, physiologically, that we call it chilling injury.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to study more about this chilling injury. So my proposal for the scholarship, the Japanese government scholarship was on chilling injury. So that's how I landed in a lab where the professor was a post-harvest person. So when I landed there, of course, I got to learn a little bit more about chill. I still studied chilling injury in banana for my PhD, but it opened me to a bigger, you know, conversation about post-harvest. So after I finished my PhD, I came back to Kenya. I was in the space of post-harvest, but I didn't know what about post-harvest, you know. So like any research, I started researching about post-harvest. I wrote a proposal. I got some money to study post-harvest management in mango.
Okay.
Okay. How do you delay ripening in mango using some treatment? I won't go into the deep things about that. But so that small research took me to farmers.
All right.
Yeah, because I needed to get, it was basically lab work, but I had to source for the mangoes from farmers. Yeah, so it took me to a place called Makueni. And you know, Makueni is one of the largest producers, actually the top mango producing county in Kenya. So while interacting with farmers, because I had gone there not to, at that time I hadn't known really what is the real bigger picture in post-harvest. But when I was working with these farmer groups, I came to realize that this problem of post-harvest is bigger than what I thought. You know, mine was supposed to just get some mangoes from the farmers to bring to the lab to study the treatment I had. You know, it's an innovation in extending shelf life of mango fruits. So my journey to Makueni was just to get samples. But while getting my samples, I got to know that the farmers have a problem, a big problem. They're losing so much because of avoidable reasons. So that small research launched me into now my passion for how do we help smallholder farmers to actually deal with this problem of post-harvest losses at the farm. And you realize the losses are not just at the farm, they're everywhere, from the farm all the way to the market. So that is what launched my passion into food loss and waste reduction.
And what has happened now from that research or from that discovery, now that you went to the farmers and you're like, okay, the problem is bigger than you envisioned or you thought or you knew, what then happened? How did you, end up working with the other? Because I know you work with other, more than mangoes.
Yes, I work with on more than mangoes. But if you check a lot of my work is on mangoes because I realized mango, one, we produce a lot of mangoes in Kenya. It's one of the big major fruits we produce in Kenya, and it's produced by smallholder farmers. And that is where we lose a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So we lose a lot in all the fruits and vegetables. But then you realize if you find solutions for mango, they would actually apply for other fruits. Okay. Yeah. So of course, after working with that farmer group, I finished my research. It was actually a project that I was sponsored by, that time it was called NACOSTI. I got some funds under the Women Research Fund. That I think it was in 2016, thereabouts. So I got a small fund and I did that research. But after that, that research opened doors for other projects. Yeah. So of course, after I think sometimes when you do research from a point of, researchers, sometimes we assume we know the problems. So we kind of design our research. We know the problem. Like for me, that first research was about how do we extend the shelf life of mangoes. That is just a small part of the problem. So you can extend the shelf life. But if you're going to reduce losses in mango, there's a little bit more that you got to do. So after that, we started to do other projects. And the project that then really got me into because I started to talk about the problem.
Yes.
That the farmers need more than extending the shelf life. It has to be a holistic approach. How do we really help farmers to actually address the factors that contribute to the losses? Because in fact, what got me really thinking is that when you go to the farm, the farmers sell the fruits, and it's not just mango. You find that they sell at a very low price.
Yes.
Because first of all, mango and many other fruits and vegetables are highly perishable. You harvest, first of all, when they mature,
you don't want them to ziive kama uko nazo in your farm.
You see, the life of mango is already programmed.
Yeah.
The life of a tomato is already programmed. It grows, it matures, it ripens, and then it will go to rot. So if you don't have a plan of what you're going to do with a mango, the moment like mangoes come to season around November, December, if you don't have a market, you don't have storage, or you can't process them, they're going to waste. And that's the story of our mango farmers. I remember I talked to farmers, I think after Makueni, I started now working with mango farmers around the country. And so I remember being in a room where we had gone there to talk to farmers about handling, how they handle the fruit.
Yeah.
That itself is an intervention. So I was talking to this group of farmers about their mangoes, how they handle. And this mango farmer, a man, stood to talk about his plight. That, his mangoes, very good mangoes, this was in Machakos, they have reached maturity. He has no market. And what he has done is to just invite some young people in the village and told them, come and harvest. Go sell. Whatever you get, give me something. Okay. That is, it's like this. And remember, mango is a fruit that, like in some regions, only comes to season once. So that means you've been waiting for this crop the whole year, and then it is here in season, and you have no market. You have nothing. And the mangoes from Makueni, Machakos, they're very good, high quality. So you can imagine you're stuck with these fruits, you don't have a market, you call, and this farmer was crying. You can imagine when a man is crying, telling you his plight. We had a moment of silence, like, okay, let us just give him time to talk. So it is really sad. So the thing is, when as we looked beyond my lab work, it's like, what is it that we can do for not just mango farmers, but horticultural farmers? Because the challenges are the same. That you have perishable produce, which once it is mature, if you don't have market, it's going to go to waste. Or if your farmer have invested, you're not going to make any returns on investment. So we're thinking about, when do you harvest? How do you handle the produce after harvesting? How do you link up to the market? You know, so now that is now the bigger picture I was talking about. Yeah. So we got with we got this grant. Thank God for Rockefeller Foundation. They actually were our breakthrough into, you know, because I kept on out talking about the problem of farmers, talking about solutions that are out there that could help the farmers. But you see, I had never demonstrated how these solutions would help the farmers to address the problem. So I remember one of the directors at Rockefeller Foundation, she's called Betty, Betty Kibara. She told me, she's listened to me talk about cold storage. She's heard about me talk about the cool board, talk about this. But I say, you know what? You talk too much in conferences. Now, you need to actually translate that talk into action. So that is how I got into this. Rockefeller Foundation, I was asked to write a grant. Yes. How are we going to help the farmers in reality? Because at that point, Rockefeller Foundation had a big project about food loss and waste reduction. It was called the Yield-Wise Initiative. The Yield-Wise Initiative was targeting various value chains. Yes. And as fate would have it, mango was one of those value chains. They wanted to show that actually if farmers are helped, one, to aggregate their produce with the right technologies, which is cold storage, and they are trained, you know, first of all, they need to be organized in groups. Because as individuals, remember our farmers are smallholder. The amount they produce cannot warrant them investing like in a cold room. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. So the theory of change here was, if we organize the smallholder farmers in groups, connect them to, first of all, help them to access technologies that will help them to aggregate their produce, so that the small volumes that they have put together, you achieve the quantity that is required by traders, by the market. Two, in these groups, they can access technology as a group. Then you link them to the markets, okay? Then it will be easier, you know, for them to, you know, because the problem here is access to market, small volumes. So with that, they gave us that grant.
Wow.
So that grant helped us, because we've done research in cold storage technologies, but you see, we never took them to the farmers. They are there, we know they work,
but no implementation. And that's maybe the other challenge that we tend to have. And I like the challenge that was thrown to you by Rockefeller Foundation, that yes, we have research and you have conducted your research, you have your research output, but you have it at your campus.
It's on campus.
And now you talk about it in conferences,
you talk about
international conferences, but now the impact in the community had not been felt.
So that was the challenge they gave us, and say, fine. They actually gave us a blank check. Design. How do you think with this money you can actually move the needle? So what we did, of course, we had done research on cold storage technologies, but we realized that it's not just the technology, it's also the farmers knowing how to harvest, how to handle the produce after harvest. Technology only comes in to complement other practices. So we got into this training, capacity building of the farmers, training them on how to harvest the mangoes, and that applies to other produce, because you realize that when you find a mango farmer, they're not just growing mango, they grow also other vegetables, other fruits. So you're training them, you need to harvest at the right time for your market, whether your market is fresh market, export market, how do you harvest for those different markets? And when you've harvested, how do you handle to minimize injuries, so that when the produce gets in the cold room, it's not produce, because cold room does not add value to your produce. The produce has to be the best quality. So again, in that program, we were also partnering with TechnoServe. TechnoServe were working with the farmers to ensure that production in the field is right. Yes, they do proper production practices, so that the produce that comes from the field is of a good quality. So that when it comes to, now we establish what we are calling aggregation centers. In the aggregation centers, we put in the cold storage technologies, and the purpose, we actually were calling them zero loss center, meaning when produce comes from the field is of high quality. It arrives at this aggregation center. The aggregation center is equipped with cold storage technologies, and then it's also equipped with technologies for processing.
Okay.
And the idea was, what is high quality for fresh market goes into cold storage. Okay. And when it's stored like that, you know, because farmers bring small volumes, we can aggregate good quantity. So we installed for them a cold room that could take up to 1 ton of produce.
Wow.
So that if a trader wants, maybe they have a market, export or local, they can just come and pick. And the idea was, when they're in a group, they can negotiate for a better price.
A better price.
Yeah,
right.
because you see, currently, the current practice is that the traders actually go to the farm and they find, you know, a farmer. In fact, the traders go and harvest for themselves, you know. They harvest and then they pick what they want and they leave the rest on the farm.
What?
So
and
they're
the ones, why is it that it feels like they were the ones dictating the price?
Oh yes.
Inachukua na ngapi?
Thank you. They dictate, first of all, they come to the farm.
No,
They come to the farm.
Yeah.
They harvest.
Yes.
And then they sort their own harvest. So they leave what they don't want with the farmer.
Yeah.
And then even for what they have harvested, they dictate the price. And remember, the farmer here is just a price taker. In the sense that they, you know, the fruits are harvested.
Yeah.
You take what you're given.
Yeah.
If you don't take anyway, it's gonna go to waste because you don't have storage. You don't have anything to do with the fruits after that. So the idea here was, we organize these farmers. They get the produce. Some of it can be sold fresh. Whatever does not meet the standards for fresh market can be turned into value-added products.
Yes.
So we installed for them a juice processing line, so that fruit that are too ripe for fresh market are turned into juice. The ones that are probably injured a little bit and will be rejected in the market, we make chips. So you actually, you know, so we train them how to make mango chips, how to make mango juice, how to make mango jam, you know. So the idea is, any fruits that come to the center finds use.
Yes.
Yes. So it's either going for fresh market or what doesn't make it for fresh market is turned into other products. So we train them to make like up to 13 products from mango, from juice to, you know, to chutney, to jam, to chips, to mango rolls, to wine. All those are products at their disposal. And we even train them to meet standards for Kenya Bureau of Standards, so that their product can actually be sold in the mainstream market. So you see, with that support from Rockefeller Foundation, we're able to show that with technologies, like just simple technologies, and we had, like you said, you have been researching on these technologies, the cool board, the evaporative cooling technologies. So we installed for them the charcoal cooler, the zero energy brick cooler, the cool board cold room. All these were at their disposal. Do with them to, first of all, aggregate your produce, and then install for them dryer, tunnel dryer for dried products, and then a juice making line for wet processed products. So it was actually a little factory in that place, meaning that the idea was, with these facilities, can farmers be linked to market? First of all, we want farmers to get better returns. But while at it, we want to reduce losses at the farm level. Because for sure, like I said, when mangoes and any other fruit or vegetable, when it's ready, it is ready. If you can't sell, it will go to waste. So the idea is, you know, if you ever tried, you know, I myself tried tomato farming, and after what I went through, I told my, you know, maximum respect for farmers. Oh, you do this sometimes you lose everything and they still go back. No, you have to respect our farmers, because by the moment you see a tomato, so much has gone into producing it. When you see that mango, so much has gone into producing it. So when you see it going to waste, it's not just that mango that is being wasted. There's so much more that has been invested in producing it that goes to waste. So you see, for me, I look at it and I'm like, I think after encountering this and also trying my hand on family, like, no, we can't lose. We can't, after all the investment in time and the resources, we can't lose it. Something has to, you know, we got to do something to minimize. Remember, I told you the statistics show that 40 to 50% of the fruits and vegetables go to waste. Wow. 40 to 50%. So it is so you look at it, and for me, just that notion is what makes me say, like, you know what, we can do something. Of course, I may not be the one to bring 40 to 0.
Yeah.
But let me do my
But
little
you
bit.
started the efforts.
Do your little bit,
Yeah.
and you know, that will contribute to the bigger picture.
Do you have any idea whether the efforts have been replicated in other places now, apart from that one that you, if you have any idea, maybe not by you, by someone else?
No, I think after we introduced the concept of aggregation, it picked up.
Okay.
Yes, you've had. I can't say we are taking credit for what the government is doing. You've had the government talking about aggregation centers in counties.
Okay.
You see, that is the idea. It's not. It's not like we are the ones who doing that. But it's like after that, because the idea of aggregation centers for smallholder farmers picked up in a big way.
Yeah.
And you find that you know, we apart from us, the other people who now are doing it, trying to introduce, because the concept, the idea of ensuring that there's storage at the farm level. Yes, because farmers cannot aggregate without cold storage.
Okay.
Yeah, because for perishable produce, without cold storage, if you put them, for example, just in a normal room like this, without market, they are going to go to they'll ripen and go to waste. But if you have a cold room, the idea is, if you have a cold room, then you have a market. Yeah, then you tell the farmers, bring your produce. You know, if let's say like the cold room we have in Ambuko, and even the one we built at our campus, it can take up to 200 crates of produce.
Wow.
And you see, every harvest, maybe a farmer can bring 2 crates, another one 5 crates. Yeah. So ultimately, because one, you can imagine an individual farmer telling them to invest in a cold room, and they only produce 3 crates of produce. That makes sense. So the idea of aggregation is to have them jointly,
collaborate. You're giving them power, negotiation power, and having the product all year round, not necessarily during when it's in season. Because that's what I'm hearing. So any other time we have the power that I can supply. When someone calls, we can supply.
You can say, and you see, of course, when you introduce it, it was at that point it was for mango. But you see, farmers do more than mango. You find they have tomatoes, they have veggies, and you know, so the cold room is at the disposal of farmers. I would say when you have introduced that cooling facility for farmers, is for them to see the opportunity. And even the juice processing line, it is a wealth of opportunity for them to process not just mango, but they can do oranges, they can do other fruits. The dryer can dry just about anything. You can dry. In fact, like the group that we're working with in Embu, they also do bananas. So in fact, they identify you know, a local company that needs dried banana for children formulation, you know, this winning formulation. So they actually got, you know, so they chip the bananas, dry them, and supply. Because the dryer can dry just about anything. You can dry meat, you can dry flowers, you can dry anything. So it's up to, the only thing is that, you know, just showing the farmers the potential in what they have. If it's a juice processing unit, what else can they do? If it's a dryer, what else can they do? So that they exploit that opportunity to, you know, to make wealth. Because those facilities is that when you talk about cottage industries, this is it. Because you can make all kinds of products, package them, you know, and identify. So in fact, you told these farmers, you don't need to compete with established brands. Identify your niche market and target. So them, like they were drying bananas for a certain off-taker, you know, some of them, in fact, we train another group in Machakos. They identify an off-taker that wants organic, dried without any additives. You know,
what can you really comment on? I like what I'm hearing, and I've had, now you've moved from Machakos, you've gone to Embu. Does this mean funding is the one that has, because now Rockefeller ended that. So does it mean that you always have to access funding for the community to be impacted by your research output?
No, the thing is, here is, remember now, we are not even looking for funding. We are actually selling this idea to counties.
To the county government.
Yes.
But you're still working with them.
Yes, we work like now as we speak. We've gone beyond Embu, Machakos. We have done some work in the dry counties, Marsabit, Turkana, what is Marsabit, Turkana, Wajir. We've introduced cooling at the market.
Wow.
Remember, we have cooling required at the farm level.
Yes.
But also we lose a lot of food at the market.
Yes.
Have you ever asked yourself, when you go to a market like Kangemi,
Where do they put their things at?
not only where do they put their things, do you see them, they usually have small volumes of produce. Do you ever ask yourself what happens with whatever they don't sell at the end of the day? Because some of these traders have come from far, and you're thinking, if like their leafy vegetables, for example, whatever you don't sell, when you bring it tomorrow, it won't be sellable, because leafy vegetables have a shelf life of 1 day. So it basically means if you brought managu, you brought skuma, if you don't sell it, either you sell to somebody who's going to feed the pigs, or sell it, throw it at in the in the garbage bin at the market, because that's how it is. I mean, the volumes are too small, and anyway, even if you carry them to your house, you don't have a cold room in your house, right? So the idea is for the traders, then we have addressed cold storage at the farm. The traders bring the produce to the market, and at the market there's no cold storage. So we haven't really addressed the challenge. So in Marsabit, in Mojir, and in Turkana, the idea is, how do we ensure that when these traders have source for produce, and they come, and for those counties like Wajir, Turkana, they are dry. So that means that produce is coming from other counties, okay? And those places are very hot. Yeah. So that produce has even a shorter shelf life. So cold storage is key now for those traders. So the idea would be then introducing cold storage, so that if they have produce, they sell today, whatever is not sold, they can keep in the cold room at the market, okay? So that tomorrow they remove what they stored and continue to sell. Otherwise, without cold storage, it actually goes to waste, and that's why you see a lot of wastage at the market. I know right now there are people who are actually into recycling waste. So waste at the market is now taken by people who are recycling. The people who are doing BSF, people who need that those cabbages to feed their pigs. But I always say, those cabbages, yes, feeding the pigs or turning them into BSF is okay. It's better than throwing them in the landfill. But they were never produced for the pigs.
In the first place.
Yes, in the first place.
So they are regarded as waste.
It's waste, but it's just better use of waste. It's better use of waste instead of taking it to the landfill, feeding the pigs or taking it into BSF, recycling using BSF is a better use than the landfill. But we should always remember it was meant for human consumption.
Prof, what is the biggest milestone or achievement you feel like you've on this journey, now that you sound like you've been in it for several years, and do you feel like there's still something ahead of to be
We haven't done anything.
Okay. Not even scratched the surface.
No, you see, remember, about the little work we've done, we haven't moved the needle.
Wow.
We have raised the awareness.
Okay.
The thing is we've done is that we have raised awareness about the problem. We have raised awareness about what can work. So it's a question of now people taking what can work and scale. Okay? So for me, the call to action is like, the researchers, you've done our part. I can say, I have done my part. I've shown you that we have technologies for cold storage. We at the University of Nairobi have done a lot of research on cold storage technologies. We have different kinds. We have solar powered technology. We have the cool boats, which was my favorite, the first one that I introduced to Kenya. And then we have done, working with the engineering team, we have done adaptive research for the charcoal cooler, zero energy brick cooler. If you go to Kabete, our campus, you'll find a whole hub where we actually are demonstrating these technologies. They can work, how they work. So people come there to learn. For me, it's not about people coming to learn. It's about people come to learn and take it to scale. If you come and see at the hub, you'll see what would work in my circumstances. If you don't have electricity, we have evaporative cooling technologies, which are off the grid. If you have electricity, we have the cool boat, which is a perfect replacement for conventional cold room. So we are there. So my cry to people, whether it's county government, development partners, there are all these innovations. When it comes to value addition, we have products. we have a whole food processing hub, which again was supported by Rockefeller Foundation. We are about training farmers, processors into developing products that would otherwise go to waste into value, high value products that you can make from fruits, from vegetables. So the thing is, for me, what I would love to see is people now coming and saying, you know what, this, and we are having that go on with researchers, with counties to come and see the technologies that are there and see what would work in this county, what would work for our groups. So recently we have actually, with support from FAO now, we've actually trained people, county focal people. So that they come, we talk them through the theories of food loss and waste, why it happens, you know, what are the technologies that are there, and then practically shown them. Yeah, we took these people through a training to see value addition of fruits and vegetables, the cold storage technologies that they have. So these 47 focal people from all the 47 counties, we have tasked them to tell them, you know what, now you know these technologies exist. Now you know the challenge. Now how can you do in your county? So we told them, now you will be our kingpins in the counties. There are issues of food loss and waste, we'll task you to identify them. If there are development partners coming in your counties, you know the technologies that are there. And they're not only our technology, there's so much. Because when you train them, we did not only talk about our own research, we talked broadly about what is available out there. So take these innovations, depending on your circumstances, what would work for you. Take them and help your farmers. Yeah. So we are having some pilot studies here and there in some counties, but you know, we have said, you know, agriculture is devolved. Each county knows their strength. Each county knows what would work for them. Pick what works for you and run with it. And we as we have offered ourselves, we as University of Nairobi, we are there to backstop, to support you. Whether you want us to train your farmers on handling practices, you want us to train them on products that they can make from different commodities in your county, that is, we have said, you know what, bring them. We have a hub, we can train them. We have a hub for technologies, we can train you on whatever you want. So that is the offer we have made for counties. So it's up to the counties and our focal person to take advantage of what we have offered and make a difference.
I really like that, Prof. So a question, how does this circle back to your teaching in class? Because now you're in the practice, you're literally out here.
Yes.
You're out in the field and you're also in class. And for some reason, people feel like these are two separate.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. In fact, those two should work together. We always say that, you know what, for a long time, you know, people thought lecturers are theorists. You know, sometimes they still think we are theories. You know, when you start to speak, they will say you're professor, like they just see theories. We moved from theory. Somebody said we came out of the ivory tower. We're on the ground. So we are not teaching. When I teach my student, I don't teach from theories. In fact, I teach from practice. Most of my master's students, their research is there in the field with the farmers. Yes, as we speak today, my students are in Vihiga. They're in Kakamega and Kisii County. They are still on the topic of food loss and waste. They are. We want to work with the farmers of African leafy vegetables. We want to introduce storage for farmers, aggregation in these counties. So first, before we get there, apart from aggregation, we want to understand how much are they losing and what is driving the losses, so that as we come in, there's a project that is new, supported by the Horticulture Innovation Lab, which is actually one of the Feed the Future innovation labs for USAID. So they've supported us through Carlo. Actually, the project is led by Carlo, but we are coming in to do the post-harvest bit. And our bit will be working with the smallholder African leafy vegetable farmers to actually identify the drivers of the losses, the extent of the losses, and intervention. So when you talk about linking research and real practice, this is where the rubber meets the road. So you get to work with the farmers, understand their issues. They're losing. Why are they losing? And what intervention would work best in their circumstances? So that is what. So there's a PhD student. He's there now gathering that information. It's actually his first objective for his PhD is understanding the farmers' issues, the losses, the drivers of the losses, and what interventions are required. So
like
when
that.
it comes to his second objective, is introduce the interventions, and then look at how these interventions will help these farmers to reduce the losses and document that. So he'll be comparing those who are using the innovation and those who are not, and just see how does it. So that is real evidence. Because for you to have, I keep on saying, without evidence, you can't change anything. You must, these farmers want to know, does it really work? Those who have used it, what impact has it had on them? Because with that you document. Of course, we'll publish his thesis, we'll publish papers, but there's real evidence on the ground. Yeah? So that is where we say, you know, first, as the researchers, you need to move from the labs and go to the people, work with them and see, so that you fit, because sometimes we assume a lot when you're doing our research. We assume we know the farmers need a cold room. How do you know is the cold room that is going to change? First of all, understand them. And you know, remember, cold storage is not new.
No, it's not.
But do you see how farmers are not adopting? But why? We need to understand why is it that these technologies are there, but the farmers are not. So you have to understand them. We did a study we did a study in mango, and they told us the technologies are there, all right, but without market, why would I invest in the technology? Because when the farmer invests in good practice, good technology, it doesn't pay. It doesn't motivate them. No. So it has to be. So for us, this project, we want to actually link the farmers to the market. So we are having the cold storage at the farm, but we have also now established an aggregation hub at our campus, equipped with cold storage. And so we are trying to test a concept. Like for us is to see, now we have a problem at the farm. The challenge the farmers are saying is market. So now we want to link the African leafy vegetable farmers to market in the city. So we want to see, will that make a difference? Yes? If we prove that, then we can now talk from a point of knowledge that in fact, when you introduce cold storage at the farm level, link those farmers to market, in the urban areas, well equipped with cold storage so that we don't lose at the market, then we not only minimize losses, but we link the farmers to the market, we reduce losses, but we increase return on investment for the farmers. Because that that is how, I mean, you know, we say we've tried everything.
Making life better.
No, we want, the idea for me is, I want to have something that will make a difference in the life of the farmer. So introduce cold storage, but also they said, you know what, cold storage is not it. The market is why we are not using the cold store. So now we want to open that link to the market. Will it make a difference? So watch this space. We'll be reporting.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear that, and I'm glad and that you started with mangoes and how the growth trajectory is, and how the different counties are bringing in the different challenges in terms of the products. I feel like I feel good because I know what you've done in Marsabit is not the same as what you did in Machakos.
It's case by case. Each county is unique.
And just a little bit, last year we were at the food loss conference. And I had the different players that are in the chain, you know, everyone that is affecting the food loss conversation. And I know recently you also had an event here to talk about the progress with different food experts. Can you slightly talk about, you know, the different people, the different players?
So you realize food loss and waste reduction is a multi-stakeholder thing. Yes, we have the researchers, we innovate, we bring innovation. We have the farmers, the producers, they have to be on board. We have the policy makers, they have to be on board. We have the transport, all the actors. So if you look at a food chain, it starts from the farm. First, it doesn't even start from, it starts from the input suppliers. Then you have the farmers, we have the transporters, we have the processors, we have the traders, and then we have the people who enable.
I even had the packaging.
The packaging.
Packagers, when they're in the process.
So all these players, everybody has a stake, has a stake, yes? And everybody has interest, And then you say, we have the policy makers who, you heard some people are saying, they want to do ABCD, but the policy There's no enabling policy to get them to do this.
Yeah.
You heard, I think, from the food banking people. They want to aggregate food that would otherwise go to waste and distribute it to those who need it. But there's no guidance or guidelines which would be informed by, some policy. So they're all, everybody is doing something here and there, but we need all of us. We say people are working in silos, everybody doing this, nobody knows who's doing what. So now we need better coordination of all these actors so that, for example, people should know, if you come to University of Nairobi, what can you get? If I go to, so that everybody knows who is doing what and who can help them to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
So that, the idea of bringing all the stakeholders together so that we all work together, complement each other's effort instead of, repetition. Sometimes you find there's a lot of duplication of effort, a bit of competition among the players. Yes, that you are doing this and you don't want the other person to know.
Everyone is feeling like we're fighting for the same cake.
Yes, yeah, no. We need to complement each other. And that's why we're saying that for Kenya now, we have developed a strategy.
Okay.
A food loss and waste reduction. Actually, it's a post-harvest management strategy focusing on food loss and waste reduction. Actually, it is it's actually a government document. It was developed with support from FAO, and I'm happy I was one of the technical people that helped to just come with that strategy. In that strategy, there's a lot of information, what needs to be done, who needs to do what, So we are hoping that with that kind of policy to bring all these stakeholders together so that everybody, if you're researchers, what is it that you're expected to do? There's a call to action. In fact, remember last year on September 29th, at Taifa Hall, remember we celebrated the International Day
That's what I was talking about. Yes.
of awareness of food loss and waste. It's actually celebrated every year. It's actually a United Nations Day to raise awareness about the problem and the solutions. Okay, so in that day, on that day, of course, people think this food loss and waste is a problem of researchers, is a problem of government, but you, Nekesa, there's something you can do about it. Yes, you had this. We are wasting a lot of food in our houses.
We are.
A lot. And remember during the last day, we were even told how you can reuse your ugali. Yes,
Instead of throwing it away.
Instead of throwing it away. So everybody has something to do. In fact, they say it's collective effort. Government has to enable, maybe finance researchers to come up with the new innovative ideas, but also provide an enabling policy environment. Yes, that's government. You researchers, what is your call to action? Give us evidence. We're told you researchers, give us evidence. Like now, what we are doing now in the field with my students, evidence that this can work. Yes, evidence that we are losing this, and if you do this, it can make a difference. You see, that's the evidence that would inform. So that if, say, we are doing this study in African leafy vegetables in Kisii and Kakamega County, is under project, we'll generate evidence. If somebody wants to do a similar thing in another county, there is evidence of what would work. That is what we have been tasked to do. First of all, innovate, give us innovative solutions, but also provide us with evidence. That is our work as researchers. Then you are a consumer. What is your stake in it? Private sector. You see, they also have a stake, because you look at private sector actors like supermarkets, a lot of information they need to give us, what they are doing, what can they do differently. So that, because you're talking
now they're also selling food.
Yes.
And there's a lot of food that is not sold.
Thank you. Yes.
And there's a lot of food that
goes to waste at the retail.
Exactly.
Yes. So the retailers also have a role to play. How can they reuse that food? Yes. First of all, you've seen most supermarkets have introduced fresh produce in their supermarkets.
Exactly. That too.
But have you seen how they handle fresh produce in the supermarket? You see, you've gone to a supermarket, you find a lot of fresh vegetables in the morning. In the evening, it's wilted. What do they do with those vegetables? Yeah.
Is it now that they go and cook for us to buy when it's ready?
No, what they do
We
is there,
can't tell.
I do not know. But the idea is we need to, everybody
They
has
are
to do their
players.
part.
They are players and they need to be in this conversation.
And they are in
That's-
it. In fact, they are in it. There's this retail association called the RETRAC.
Yes,
The
yes.
lead, remember in that meeting, Wamboi, she's now the food waste champion.
Yes.
She's whipping her retailers into action that we are not going to waste.
Yeah.
We are not going to be the weak link in the chain. So what is it that we can do differently to ensure that we minimize waste at that level?
Yeah.
Because a lot of waste is happening at the retail, a lot is happening in our restaurant. The restaurant people will tell you they don't waste anything. The idea is, how does everybody play their role so that wastage at your level is minimized? What is it that you need to do? Yes, retailers have their role. You as a consumer have your role. We are told about, some of us shopping more than you need, cooking food more than you need.
Yeah.
You as a, in fact, the recent report from UNEP shows we are wasting more food in our houses than, because most we focus on the farmers. We say it's a lot of losses at the farm level, but no, the recent report shows that in fact,
It's in our
at your house, a lot of wastage. You shop more than you should. Sometimes you don't know how, those labels on your food, you don't understand
We
them.
don't even know to preserve some of the things that we've bought, to be honest.
Yes, you don't
Because you
know.
told yourself, I'm just going to do shopping once
For
a
the
month
whole week.
or a
Yeah,
month.
yes.
And then you get home and things are just looking. And at the middle of somewhere, you're like, okay, I've given up on this.
Yes, and sometimes you check the labels like, this one is, it was best before, and like, this one is, so there's a lot of consumer education that needs to be done so that we minimize the wastage. And that is why what we're trying to do now for International Day of Awareness, we have done a lot of campaign at the farm level, but there's a lot of campaign we need to do
for everyone else.
for everybody, so that, because reducing food loss and waste is not a government problem. It's not a researcher's problem. It's not a donor's problem. It's everybody's problem. And everybody can do something. Yeah. If all of us did our part, we said, me and Wamboi, we usually say, if we go to a place where food has been served on the buffet, you can't sit near me and you leave food on your plate.
Okay.
No, you can't, because you served yourself.
You have to finish
So you need
your
to finish
food.
your food.
All right.
Yeah. So sometimes, because people waste a lot of food on buffets. You just go and you pack your plate, and then you go sit because you didn't pay for it. You pick a little bit and like, what? I don't have to finish everything. But if you sit next to me and our anti-food waste people, you're going to finish your plate. Because nobody served you. You served yourself. So you finish. Because if you had left it, somebody else would have served. But you decided that so whatever you served, clear the plate.
Wow. It starts from there.
Oh, it starts from there. It starts from there. It starts from there.
That's making a difference already.
Yes, already. And once you know that, once you know your body, even in your house, you will not let your children
do that.
Serve food and nibble around it and say, mommy, I don't want this. You're going to finish. In fact, one of our food waste champions says, in her family, the food waste is such a big deal. If you serve your food, if you can't finish it, that's in the house, they keep for you in the fridge.
That's what you start with the next
tomorrow, when fresh food has been made, wherever it may be, for you to serve today's food. So that tells you got to finish your stuff today, because you don't want to recycle yesterday's food.
I like that. We all have a role to play in this.
It is small, it might sound very small, but that is what is going to change the food waste. Changing that figure, the figure of food waste at the household is too big. Yes, in fact, they said in the last report, the 2021 report, I know there's a 2024 report, but the 2021 report, it was saying that we lose 931 million metric tons of food. Yes, and out of that proportion, more than 60% is in the household. Wow. Yes, we lose some in the service industry, at the retail, but a lot of that is
from home.
At home. So, and that one, we say, that one you can change. Remember when you define food loss, remember food loss and waste are two terms. Food loss it happens from the farm. This is definition by FAO, from the farm to retail. And we say it is because of sometimes unavoidable reasons. But from retail to the consumer, we call it food waste. And it's actually due to avoidable reasons. Okay. So food waste is something you can do about. Is actually behavior change. How you shop, how you cook your food, how you preserve it. All that is just consumer education. And I'm hoping, I keep on telling my friends, we need to have these campaigns where we actually raise awareness, tell people, and there's a lot of information. There's just that people don't have access to that information. There's a lot of information on how you can recycle food, you know, how you can turn your ugali into some really nice nachos. It was being showcased during it. So you can actually reuse the food and make, you know, something nice out of what you'd rather, you know, your rice, you know, when you cook it, you eat it white rice fresh. Tomorrow, you don't need to throw it. You can turn it to something even nicer the next day. All those recipes are available. It's just that people don't know where to get them. But that's what we're trying to do, that create awareness about, you know, what you can do with your food. That's why, in fact, that is, you know, we've hosted the International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste since its inception in 2020.
I really like that, Prof. And generally we can feel the difference that you're doing through your research in society. We are really feeling it. I'm glad you ended up there. Now that you said it was circumstantial.
No, I can't. In fact, if I look back, like, this is what I was created for. To just raise awareness. And so we are not only raising awareness, we're also providing the solutions.
I really like
So we have solutions from research, but also for that solution to be adopted and to make a difference, we must create awareness. So that is where we talk about coming from the lab to the end users. We have solutions, but create awareness about them.
And this is one of the ways we are creating awareness about the work that you're doing. So this is one of the ways we are celebrating you, Prof, and the work that you've put out there.
Thank you.
Do you have any parting shot?
Parting shot about full of
an encouragement for a young woman researcher. Parting shot on your work. Anything to anyone who's watching, because anyone can watch.
I think for me, like you said, I mean, you know, first of all, for researchers, our research that should not just end up in publications. And we call that, of course, for it to be promoted, you need those publications.
You need the
that is okay,
yeah.
but it shouldn't end there.
Yes.
Take your research to the end users. Somebody said, you know what, it's good, you know, the citations are good. I mean, you want to be cited and everything. That is okay. But beyond citations, what next? Let that research, somebody say, but the way this thing, you know, this research, this technology you're having, it was, of course, I mean, it was developed or introduced to us, but, you know, that gives you some feel that, you know, at the end of the day, you impacted somebody, you know, with your research. I think for me, that is the teaching is good, research is good, publication are good, but it has to go beyond the research. It has to impact someone, But also in our careers, if you pursue a line, don't scatter yourself. Focus. I think for me, since my interaction with those farmers and getting to understand the real problem, really, you know, have passion for something that, you know, you can actually say, you know, this farmer, we found them here and we moved them from one. This is for agriculture, but, you know, the other fields, identify a problem. That you can actually do something about, and do something about it, and be consistent with it. And so today, like you said, I mean, I like to be associated with the post-harvest and food loss and waste, to the extent that you feel that you're not synonymous. But when people are talking about
anyone talking about food loss and waste and not mention your name, it's a no from me. Like in Kenya here, you have to be somewhere in those conversations, unless you sent an apology. But you have to
unless you send an apology. No, not just because we can, and we need to move from those discussions in the boardroom to where it really matters. That's for me now. We are done talking. Of course, remember we do the International Day of Awareness. You also know that University of Nairobi is credited with starting the All Africa Post-Harvest Conference. Yeah, you remember? We started in
We did
2017.
something, yes.
Now it's still going on.
Okay,
We
okay.
started in 2017, and then it's a biannual conference.
Okay.
2019, 2021, last year, 2023, we did. Right now, it's hosted by AU, but it was our baby. That is another continental platform where we not only raise awareness, but we also showcase solutions. That is there. But you see, for us, after you have seen what is out there, get it and move it to who need it. I think that is very important for me. That I think knowing identify the problem is one thing, but providing the solution through our research. So I know we've received a lot of support from the university, from development partners, to get this going. And now we are moving to counties to actually, because remember, agriculture is devolved. Now we are moving to counties, pitching these ideas to counties so that and I think now it is now remember the 47 people we trained.
Food loss champions.
Food loss champions.
And I know you'll meet the conversation about food security. It's been big, it's been, the government's agenda.
Yes,
They've been pushing that conversation. And I'm sure you guys are one of the interventions,
of course,
solutions to
no,
the
it's
food
true.
security
Definitely.
issue.
In fact, we talk about achieving food and nutrition security in sustainable food systems. So you cannot achieve food and nutrition security in sustainable food systems when you're producing food and letting it go to waste. So we talk about, in fact, we say, well, how about plugging the deficit by reducing the wastage? If we reduced, yes, and that's why you say we're looking for evidence. If we reduced because right now we are talking about 30%. That's what we are losing in Kenya. If we reduce that 30%, how many people will feed? Remember, globally, in fact, globally they say 1.6 billion people can be fed on the food that goes to waste.
Wow.
Globally. Now, back home, the food that goes to waste, how many people? Sometimes it has to pain you when you see people, actually, those images on the TV, people actually eating some herbs and stuff, and yet food goes to waste. So this conversation will be, how do we plug the deficit? How do we have, sometimes when people are starving, in some other place, people are giving cabbage to cows or pouring milk. How do we ensure that we address the bottlenecks that cause food food to go to waste in those areas, and facilitate distribution channels so that food can move from surplus to scarcity, so that we don't waste, right? So we can't. So food loss and waste reduction is part and parcel of achieving food and nutrition security in sustainable food systems.
Wow.
Because there can't be any other way that we're losing food, and we're looking for food to plug the deficit. We're importing maize, and some maize is going to rot or is being eaten by weevils in the store. So we're importing maize to plug the deficit, and we're losing some maize. We import even funny things that we should really be producing. And so you look at it like, where is the mismatch?
Yes.
We're losing food, but we're importing food. So can we plug the deficit? Can we try to narrow by actually minimizing the wastage? Of course, that is you must show that, in fact, if you reduce, that's what we say, we must provide evidence that if you minimize the wastage, you can actually minimize the food imports, because we have food. We actually can produce enough food to feed, but we lose a lot. We're talking about quantitative losses and qualitative losses because of things that we can do something about. So it is part of the conversation. If you're talking about food security, food loss and waste is part of the game.
Completely.
I
love that Prof is so passionate about this. I've really enjoyed myself, and I've just been listening, and I hope that you have learned something. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and give a comment. Have you learned something from this episode? I personally have learned a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.